Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel World of Nabila. In today's video we'll be reviewing 2020 because I just thought, we're coming to the end of the year, so let's review the year. However, I won't be reviewing it how I normally review the years purely because it doesn't make sense. 2020 has been a crazy year, so reviewing based on achievements or things that have happened just doesn't seem right because it just feels like it's going to bring a bit of a negative energy, and I want to go into the new year with a bit more positive energy, a bit of like new things I've learned. So what I'm going to focus on today is actually talking about 3 things that I've talked about, had conversations about, or learned this year that I would like to continue doing in 2021, or those conversations I'd like to continue or follow those kind of lessons in 2021. I got this idea from Melinda Gates' LinkedIn post where she talks about 5 conversations that she's had this year, and she talks about the people she's had those conversations with and what they entailed and what she learned from them. So I wanted to do something similar, so I kind of thought of 3 things that I've talked about this year a lot, learned a lot from it, and I want to kind of continue working on that in 2021. But before I go ahead, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching my videos, for always liking, following, subscribing, and just supporting me, because things like this really do mean a lot. I've said this before, 2020 has been a crappy year, so to see support like this, to see people actually viewing my stuff and see those numbers go up does feel good. It gives me positive kind of motivation, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. So let's start with the video now. So 3 things that I've learned or had conversations about this year that I would like to continue into 2021. Number 1, the first and most important one that I've had several conversations about is the power of people. I genuinely believe that people, general people like you and me, people who pay taxes, who work, who vote, who do all those things, have so much power. But up until now, I think we realized we had a bit of power, but I think 2020 has made me realize how much power we really have and how we should be using that power to try and bring change for things that we genuinely care about. So for example, this year, Marcus Rashford and did this whole campaign for free school meals because the government said they're not going to be giving free school meals out when the schools are closed, but that was necessary because those kids would go hungry otherwise, which is a fantastic move. It gained so much traction that the government actually had to do a U-turn on their original decision and actually start giving those free school meals. That to me is a perfect example of people have power, and we can be repeating things like that over and over and over again for things that matter to us. What are some of the things that we think are unfair? What are some of the things we care about? What are some of the things that need to be changed? We need to think about that and raise our voices and see what we can do when we come together. As people, we really have power, and I genuinely find it really frustrating when people are just like, oh, we can't change anything, or I can't change anything, so I'm not going to bother. But if everyone was to think that way, then change would never come. So it's really important, as soon as you have an idea or you see something that's unfair, try to see who you can speak to, how you can grow this. You can write to your MP, you can vote, you can hold these people accountable. We vote these people in, so we need to hold them accountable to make change happen, to change things around. We've seen some really bad examples of leadership this year, and we need to remember that as we move forward in terms of what we'd like to see next. And again, you have the power, so remember that every time you are making those decisions, every time you see something you care about and you're like, oh well, I can't change anything, you can change stuff. You just need to think about how you're going to get it heard, how you're going to get it out there, and things will happen. Things might not always happen as quickly as they happened in terms of like the free school meal stuff, or things don't always gain traction so quickly, and that's absolutely fine. Things happen at their own pace, but you just need to remain consistent and just remember the power you have as a citizen. Number 2, the second one that I found really important that we need to talk about and we need to consider going into 2021 is cancelling cancel culture. Because cancel culture has been around for many years, however, I've seen it in 2020 take like a massive rise and happen, like it's being used like every other week, and especially on TikTok I see it used a lot more, and I find it very frustrating. I think cancel culture is good to use when you're talking about some serious crimes or serious things that have happened that need to be dealt with. However, I've never actually seen cancel culture used in that way. Cancel culture is always used for little things or minor mistakes that actors or actresses or celebrities or influencers or Instagrammers or general people have done. And I don't think that's fair. If you are cancelling people for like massive mistakes and things they've done wrong and they haven't apologized for and whatever, then yeah, that's fine. But cancelling people for, having a few mistakes or not understanding certain things or, not realizing certain things is not fair. Unless you've tried to educate them, you've you know, you've tried to bring it to their attention and they still haven't understood, that's a different story. But people who are trying to get their voice heard or use their platform for certain things and they make a mistake and then you just say, oh, cancel this person, that's not fair, because what you do is you discourage people from participating, from ever speaking up in the fear of being cancelled, right? Everyone's always going to think, oh, if I speak up, I'm going to get cancelled, so I'm not really going to speak about this either, which isn't fair. What we need to do is give people a fair chance. If they get something wrong, try to educate them, give them the sources, give them the reading material they need. And if after that they still keep making mistakes, then it's a different story. But cancelling people in the first time is just not fair. And it's so important for you to understand the impact it has overall, kind of like across the chain when it comes to these things. Especially when you're cancelling kind of celebrities and influencers, it just stops other influencers from taking part because they're so scared. Especially when you think about influencers, they get their money from these kind of platforms, right? This is their job, this is their livelihood. And if they think by saying something they could get cancelled, they're going to be a bit scared. Think about it from this context. When you go into work and one of your colleagues gets told off for doing something or gets fired for doing something, would you do that same thing? No, you wouldn't, because you don't want to get fired. And it's the same thing in terms of cancel culture. People become scared of doing anything in that area where someone has been cancelled for, because they're like, oh, what if I do make that mistake? I don't want to get cancelled. And then they never try again. And we miss out on amazing opportunities. Whereas if you said to people, you know, try, please educate yourself, please learn, and then if you make a mistake, we'll help you out rather than just cancelling you straight out, you would see more effort, more learning, and more growth in these areas. So definitely think about that in 2021 when you see more stuff happen, and you see more conversations coming up. Number three is a very important one, and this is one I genuinely kind of focused a lot on in 2020. I had a lot of conversations about this, and I've read a lot of stuff around it, I've watched a lot of videos around it, and this was around kind of the idea of side hustles. Now, I'm someone who's obsessed with the idea of a side hustle. I don't know, I just think it's a trendy thing, but at the same time, I'm quite focused on it. So I'm always focusing on how I can turn the next thing into a side hustle. And then I read a lot of stuff around it, and it was like, why does everything need to turn into a side hustle? Why does every hobby that you have, we are trained to turn into a side hustle where we're constantly working and overworking? And that is so true. Like, we are constantly in this race to be working like a full-time job, then have a side hustle, then do this and do that. When are you actually enjoying yourself? 2020 has shown us that unfortunately life is too short. Things can happen, things can change, all your plans can get completely ruined, smashed to pieces. So it is so important to really enjoy the life you're living, to really take care of like every precious moment you're in, to really enjoy what you're doing. And that's why I really had to review this whole stuff around like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, because I was like, I'm spending a lot of time doing this because I obviously work full time. So a lot of my weekends, my evenings, I spent creating content, working on it, editing, Canva, all of that stuff. So I had to understand, do I really enjoy this? Because this isn't a side hustle. I don't make any money from this stuff. It's just something I enjoy. So until I'm enjoying this, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep putting in the effort. But the moment you stop enjoying that stuff, you need to see, is it worth doing it? Because I already have a full-time job that pays me, right? So I need to understand where I'm at and what I'm doing with these things. Because otherwise, what I'm doing is I'm working a full-time job, then I'm working in the evenings, then I'm working on the weekends, and then I'm not really doing anything I genuinely love. And then life just becomes monotonous and I'm bored. And that's what happens with a lot of people. We either try to turn everything into a side hustle. So I stopped doing that like a few months ago because I was like, I need to stop trying to turn everything into a side hustle. I just need to enjoy things. But at the same time, when we're not turning things into side hustles, we just try to do these things we don't enjoy just because we should enjoy them. People expect, like, just because someone else enjoys a certain thing doesn't mean you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy coding, you know what, honey? You don't need to do it. Like, unless that's your actual job and you need to learn and grow, or if that's an area you want to go into, that's fine. But there are certain things you need to remember. If you don't enjoy certain things, see what you enjoy, right? That's so key. If you are trying to have a side hustle because you need one, you want one, or whatever, look at what you genuinely enjoy and what you can offer from that. Because sometimes what we do is we get lost in this idea of, let me just learn all these new skills. But there could be something you already know you're really good at that you would be better at doing than you learning a whole new skill that you will spend more time learning. And by the time you get to here, other people are already here, and then it's even more difficult for you. So what is it that you already have? Identify those strengths, identify those you know, things you're good at, and then try to turn those into side hustles. And that's only if you want to. You know, like I said, not everything needs to turn into side hustles. If you enjoy writing, you don't need to become a published author if you don't want to. If it seems like too much hard work, don't let people tell you that everything needs to be a side hustle, because it genuinely doesn't. If you enjoy reading, you don't need to be reviewing other people's books for money. Like, honestly, just do the things you enjoy. Like, this year has literally been a massive, like, punch in the face, kick in the back, I don't know, whatever like thing I'm looking for, but it has really made us realize that life is so short. We need to enjoy it. We need to spend time with the people we love where we can, and just spend time looking after ourselves, because it has been a difficult year, and it seems like, you know, moving forward as well, things are moving slowly. It's still a difficult time, so just focus on yourself, focus on your growth, and it will all get better. You know, things will get better. So yeah, I hope that was useful. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, these are only some of the 3 conversations or things I've learned this year that I want to take into 2021, and making sure that, you know, I'm really focusing on myself, my growth, and making sure that I'm actually looking at what I want to work on and what are some of the things I would love to focus on changing in the world in 2021. If you found this interesting, you would definitely like my cancel culture video about Rihanna, so definitely go and watch that. If you have any other questions, then let me know. I'm always replying to my comments. You can also follow me on Instagram and send me comments or messages there. If there's anything in particular you would like to see, then please let me know. And have a lovely day, have a beautiful new year, and let's hope and pray for a better 2021. Thank you so much. Bye.